Welcome to the Rush of Fear podcast, where we are covering Universal Orlando's premier scare event, Halloween Horror Nights, for our sister podcast, the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Today, we're going to welcome some special guests as we discuss the HNNightmares speculation map for Universal Hollywood. Let the mayhem begin. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Michelle, and with me tonight, I have my co-host, Kenneth.
Hello.
And Maddie.
Hi.
And we also have our friends from the Theme Park Duo podcast, Gabriel and Nikki. Welcome, guys.
Hey there. What's going on?
Oh, you know, we're trying to stay awake over here on the East Coast.
Sorry. We have a 2-year-old. Our apologies.
Yeah, no worries. We do anything for you guys. You guys are awesome.
Aw, thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you for having us on the show. We're super excited to talk some HHN.
I know. And, you know, considering none of us, Maddie, Kenneth, have you guys ever been to Hollywood?
No.
I've been to the park, yeah, but not Horror Nights.
Not Horror Nights. Okay. Yeah. Well, considering our lack of expertise on the West Coast HHN event, we thought that you guys would be the perfect addition.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood is definitely unique. You know, we've been to both events. We've been to Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights and plenty of times for ours. And they are just so drastically different.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels wrong to even call them both Halloween Horror Nights. Like
Really?
they should even have the same
Yeah,
name.
it's actually.
Yeah.
And it isn't because clearly there's similar mazes or houses, scare zones, things like that. It's just how they execute things. Those are very different.
They have a whole different vibe.
Yeah, it's a completely different vibe. A completely different vibe. So.
Wow. Well, that'll be interesting to delve into a little bit more as we go along the episode. I would have never guessed that, honestly.
Well, if you have time for a 4-hour podcast, you know, I could do my TED Talk of Halloween Horror Nights, Hollywood.
I think we would all be, not because it's not interesting, but if we would probably all be dead over here on the East Coast by then.
Oh, that's probably right. No, you're probably right.
Yeah, so HHN Nightmares is at it again with their Halloween Horror Nights sleuthing, and they posted their initial speculation map for Hollywood's Halloween Horror Nights recently on Twitter. It does look fairly similar to what Orlando is offering this year with The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, The Haunting of Hill House, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and of course, Beetlejuice. But you guys, which one are you most excited for from the speculation map that you have right now?
For me, I am definitely excited for, if it's hard to pick just one, but I'm going to say Beetlejuice because that has such a place in my heart. And I'm just really excited to see that come to life.
Yay!
I'm not going to lie. Beetlejuice is definitely up there for me. But what I'm super excited about is Bride of Frankenstein Lives. One, because everybody seemed to really love that in Orlando when it was there.
So good.
Well, I mean, at least during your HHN Light, as it were, and it's probably going to come back. But the reason why I'm excited for this is because it's a sequel maze to our original Universal Monsters maze, which to me is the example of what Halloween Horror Nights mazes in Hollywood can be.
Yeah.
It was that damn good. It was so freaking good. And so I'm really excited to see a sequel maze to that to continue kind of that type of atmosphere. To me, it was absolute chef's kiss. So super pumped for that.
This will be Hollywood's third Monsters house, right? Because last year, or not last year, but the year before, you guys had Wolfman versus Frankenstein, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we had just the general Universal Monsters, then Frankenstein versus Wolfman, and then this.
That's cool. I love that.
Although I do feel like the Frankenstein versus Wolfman felt slightly different in terms of tone than the Universal Monsters one did the year previous. I don't know if you agree with me or not.
I agree, but to be honest, that was a very long time ago, and I barely remember Frankenstein versus. I would need to watch a walkthrough.
Nikki's not really I'm more. My memory is vision based, pictures and stuff like that. So I remember that maze like the back of my hand, and also in my head, music wise, that connects to a lot of things. So our memory is very different like that. So in my head, I remember walking through and hearing the music and everything, because I believe even Slash did the music for that. It was a very particular soundtrack
it's on Spotify.
for it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Just I get goosebumps thinking about it.
The Universal Monsters one that we had in Orlando, I keep wanting to say the previous year, but at 29, it was so unique. I feel like yes, we had all the original classic monsters, but they just felt different from like the stories we've always had. Like the Wolfman looked different. Like the Mummy had kind of like a different feel to it.
Kind of upgraded.
Yeah. And like a little bit more modern, which I liked.
Yeah. A modern take on a classic monster, which I think is probably the more interesting side of it, because I think it's easy to kind of get lost in like, oh, I don't think Frankenstein is scary, or Frankenstein's monster, I don't think he's scary, I don't think, Mummy is all that scary, or the creature from the Black Lagoon. If anything, arguably Dracula is probably the most scary out of all of them in terms of original films. But when you kind of take them into the 21st century and put them in this light, it makes them that much more scary, which I think they did phenomenally. And even like a monster that you wouldn't even consider scary, like the Invisible Man, I feel like, at least in Hollywood, from our perspective, it wasn't a scary scene as much as it was a nice break from scary, which you kind of need that in these houses and these mazes, because it can't just be top tier all the time, because you'll kind of get dulled to the scares. You kind of need kind of that roller coaster feel. So like that moment where you see the Invisible Man kind of like laughing to himself and kind of maniacally going crazy, and the way the effect is done is like perfect. So, I think they did do a good job doing that.
Yeah, they did. And our Universal monsters, like you said, it wasn't so much scary. It was just very visually appealing. And we actually did that house on a Behind the Screams tour and learned a lot about like the tricks and things that they used to pull that house together and make it so that you're seamlessly going from one story to the next. It was very interesting how much the creative team put into this to make it an awesome experience. So it was very cool. Like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, he wasn't as scary if you just look at him, but he drops down from the ceiling out of nowhere. So of course that's going to get a jump scare.
Yeah.
So just the creative aspects of that house were phenomenal. So I'm looking forward. I didn't get to go to HHN Light, so it'll be a completely new experience for me for sure.
Yeah. And the Bride of Frankenstein, like when we're talking about a modern take on things, oh my gosh, like you guys are going to love it. If it's anything like the one that we had this past year for HHN Light, like it was so good. Even like the outfits that everyone in the house are wearing it's a little bit more modern than what you would normally see on the Bride of Frankenstein. And my favorite part, I don't know if they'll do it out in Hollywood as well, but we had women of color playing some of our... Wow. Yeah.
So blind casting.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It was so good. It was so... Because you would have like different like people throughout the house. And they're all obviously the same Bride of Frankenstein like character going through, but everyone was different. And it was amazing. Like it's
awesome.
It's that change in casting that like we needed, but it was so cool. I loved it.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah. One thing I do have to say, like even though that we have mazes with the same themes, like that as you of like in the same year, they can be very different. They can be
drastically different.
Because we went
I don't think it's going to be like a copy and paste situation with this.
Yeah, no,
we went to 27.
We went to 27, and we had corresponding mazes that year, like the same.
The Shining was one of them.
The Shining was one of them, and they couldn't have been more different.
They were like night and day.
So it's just it's crazy the way that works, and I think this year is especially exciting for us because we get to do both.
Yeah,
so.
and I think it's going to be interesting because I do think that Bride of Frankenstein Lives is probably going to be a little bit closer to the styles that have been in the last two iterations of the Universal Monsters mazes. And the last time we saw the Bride, she was being hacked up into pieces by Victor Frankenstein in the original Monsters maze.
Yep, I remember
like she was in pieces and he's like sawing her leg off.
Wow.
It was awesome. Like, it was really cool. And then I think of Frankenstein versus Wolfman, she was in pieces, but she was burnt to hell.
That's so cool.
So
interesting.
Well, they did something to bring her back. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Gotta do something.
Awesome. So, so one of the questions that I was going to ask is, do the houses tend to be copycats, between Orlando and Hollywood? So
yeah, not at all.
Not at all.
Is it like just design wise, they're totally different, or like
it's
top to bottom?
Everything.
Top to bottom.
Style. It's like scare tactics. It's literally everything.
Yeah, and to also even sound design too.
Yeah.
You look at sound design as something that's relatively different. Obviously, with something like a Walking Dead or Beetlejuice or Haunting of Hill House or Halloween, those sorts of things, you're going to have the music, you're going to have that iconic music in there, and it would be a mistake not to include those things. But when it comes to the other sound design of kind of what builds those scenes, they're usually a bit different. So
you guys also have those black hallways. I always hear about, I have a lot of friends out in like that work at Hollywood, and they always talk about the black hallway.
It's interesting because a while ago, like I don't really like years ago, I don't remember those being as prevalent as they are today.
Yeah, it got to a point where it was like a little bit just much, and it was like all we were focusing on when we were in it. It's almost like it was taking us out of the story of the maze because we're like, oh, another hallway, you know. And
when I remembered it being a problem was the year after we had Exorcist.
Yeah,
that was when it kind of started to become a problem for us.
Yeah, there have been a few mazes here and there, like Exorcist being one of them, where they utilized the black hallway,
and it was really good,
which was awesome. But that's not always the case. So.
Or another one that did a really good job with those transitioning hallways was the Freddy Leatherface Jason maze. It was Titans of Terror.
Oh yeah.
Titans of Terror, which was in the Waterworld queue. They did a phenomenal job of utilizing those as transitionary pieces, not only with just a black hallway, but with colored lights and sound design to bring you into a new area so that you didn't have like this weird wonky in between.
Sometimes a scare. Wasn't Freddy like one of the like safety people?
No, that was on a backlot thing. I might be wrong, but I think you might be thinking of El Cucuy, where he was in the dark holding a flashlight. Yeah, which was great. In one maze, there was like a black hallway.
I am the worst. I am the
hey, that one thing with that one actor with that one scare. Remember
together, that? Like,
she's got mom brain. Come on, she's a new mom.
I had mom brain before it.
Okay. You had pre-mom brain.
Thank you for trying to give that to me, but no, this is just me.
No, yeah, there was a scene in one of the mazes, El Cucuy, which I think is one of like in my favorite mazes of all time at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, where you're walking through one of those transition areas, and Hollywood usually has like people in like a black cloak making sure that you're not doing anything stupid. And one of the monsters was dressed in that black cloak, so he's standing there with like a flashlight, and then he pulls it up to his face, and he's a monster. So it was a really good scare because it catches you off guard. It's like a similar kind of tone to kind of almost like having a plant where like somebody just gets yanked right in front of you. It's the same feeling. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you say black hallways, is that literally just a black hallway like with still lights, or is it completely blacked out where you can't see where you're going?
No, it depends. It depends on the time of day. Because obviously like early on in the season, when the event opens up, it's still a little bright outside, daylight, so you still get a little bit of light bleed in there, and you can kind of see the walls and things like that. But once it gets to like complete nighttime, it's pretty hard to kind of see in there. And there have been times where I'm like feeling the walls.
Yeah, and sometimes they shine that light like at you,
so you're blinded.
Yeah,
things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I ran into a wall one time.
I don't know if you heard about it, but Graveyard Games in Orlando during the last HHN, they had a black hallway, but it was completely soundproof. It was super, super eerie.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
So that was another thing we learned about in the Behind the Scares was how they created that hallway. And so you went from like hearing all these screams and creepy music to walking through this hallway where you could not see your hand a millimeter in front of your face, and it was completely soundproof. So it just felt like you were in a different dimension. It was so weird.
Yeah,
it was so soundproof cool. with so like cool. Speakers playing like kids whispering in your ear and stuff.
Yes, it was sick. I just remember walking out of that bit of the house and Julie Zimmerman in front of me, just going, "What was that?"
That's very, very reminiscent of, and I'm taking a complete sidestep here, and I apologize. But at Knott's Scary Farm, there was a Tooth Fairy maze, and one of the portions was like a blackout hallway that had furry walls, and all they were playing were like fluttering of wings and like chattering teeth, and it would just give you the heebie-jeebies. That reminds me of that.
I like that.
Year two, I also just got the heebie-jeebies because of thinking of how many people have touched those furry walls.
I was literally just going to bring that up.
That's not a furry wall.
Because the one thing that I'm worried about this year, like even though I know a lot of us are going to be like vaccinated and like it's going to be clean, but still those plastic things, like you walk into a freezer and there's like the plastic strips.
Yeah.
That or like dead bodies or like the inflatable tunnel things.
I'm sure
might
they're
have to do without
they're gonna
those.
have to do away with those this year. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
It's
more
I
like
don't
the
see how they
one-
could have those.
Yeah, it's the one thing that you think of like pre-COVID. You're like it's like the water fountain syndrome where I'm totally going to use this like theme park water fountain. You know, I'm totally going to like rub my face on these plastic things as I walk through a house.
Yeah.
I mean, am I not the only one that walks through with my mouth open?
With your tongue hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Am I
First,
the only
to
one?
make sure you're not running into anything.
My tongue is protecting my face, guys.
Exactly.
Come on.
Got to breathe in all those scents, you know?
I don't like those things anyway. They drive me nuts. So
They're so gross.
Good
Moving
riddance.
on.
But yeah, in terms of difference, things are very different. Scare tactics are different. The sound design when a pop out scare happens are different. Maze design is completely different. Like it's top to bottom different.
how are scare tactics different? Isn't a jump scare a jump scare?
I think in terms of the creativity of the jump scares are a lot more prevalent in Orlando than it is in Hollywood.
Like we're not trying to be too negative, but like they're pretty predictable in our mazes. Like you see where it's coming, but even if there's no one in front of you, you're like, oh, it's coming out of there.
The surprise is few and far between
Yeah.
when it comes to like, oh, I didn't expect that. That's actually pretty good. But, you know, at least when we went to Orlando, and it may just be a certain situation of like us not being familiar with Orlando as much as you guys or what is, but there was a lot of scare tactics that our Halloween Horror Nights doesn't do.
But also they don't vary. Like I feel like a big percentage of our scare tactics is loud sound, jump out, like flashing light
from a door. Or like
And
from a curtain.
it's very
predictable.
I didn't want to be too negative, but it's very clinical, and the actors here don't go out of their way to scare you. It's like they're just doing their job. You know, they go out there 3 feet and then they go back in.
Which is interesting. You would think that Hollywood would have better actors.
but the thing is, to go into detail a little bit more about that is the fact that it's being so strict about what it is because so many people are going through. They want everybody to have the exact same experience over and over again. That's what they want it to be. And the thing is that like there have been instances where an actor has done something that is a little bit outside of the norm and has gotten me so good.
But it's very rare.
But it's very rare, and it's just specifically how they want the scares to happen. And for us, seeing things like a hand come from the ceiling, or a hand come from a body, or you know,
or those like latex walls,
or I'm trying to think of a few other ones. The mirror gag that we saw inside of American Horror Story, like that mirror gag made me almost fall to my knees because I didn't expect it. You know, those sorts of things we don't see utilized on our end. It's either somebody from behind of a door, or like a curtain behind a door, or in the black hallway. If it's like a versus maze, definitely expect like 2 characters on either side of you.
Or if
that
it's
sort of stuff.
if it's a maze based off of a movie or a show, over here in Hollywood, we're very much they really like to recreate scenes.
Yeah.
So it's like even though you're in the middle of it, you're still like in the audience watching it. So no one tries to scare you really. They're just going through the motions.
That's so interesting though, because the Hollywood HHN has such a more rigorous like audition process than we do here.
Yeah.
Ours here is just a type out. They look at you in their head. They're like, what character or what costume can this person fit into and look good? Okay, great. Bye. We'll send you an email in 4 weeks. Whereas Hollywood's is a lot more like you have to actually like scare in the audition so that they can see if you can do it, which is what when I auditioned for Dark Horizons last year as well, they had me like scare a box. Like I had to pop around a corner onto a spot and scare a box.
That's funny.
And so that's what I've been told the Hollywood one is. So it's interesting to hear that it's like it's a lot different like scaring wise because I have no training. I stepped into my first day of scare acting last year and I was like, how do I make a zombie noise? Like, I'm in this outfit, I have this makeup on, and they're like, great, go be a zombie. And I'm like, okay. What?
Go scare people. Figure it out.
Scare people. So that's very interesting. But like from like watching a lot of the like walkthrough videos and everything, especially I do a lot of like Tim Tracker, like watching and everything from his previous videos. I did notice that like it's a lot of like the construction of the house makes the scare predictable. Like you said, it's a lot of like open doors or curtains. There's a lot of those like drop down like window things, especially in the black hallways. I feel like with like the window thing like drops and makes that loud sound, and then the lights
get me
flash.
every time though.
Yeah, we had some of those in Nightingales last year, and you could hear the drop down box from the end of the house, like where I was. And that always got me, even if I was a scare actor. But like, they're just so loud. It's like a guillotine, like just bam.
I do want to clarify that. You know, by no means are we saying like the actors and actresses are not good at what they do. They're absolutely phenomenal, and they give it their all across the board. And sometimes it's because of the actors, regardless of what kind of direction they have, regardless of what kind of design the house has or whatever they're scared that has, they're going above and beyond that and able to execute a scare in face of whatever's kind of battling against them in terms of the other stuff we've talked about.
They're selling it for sure.
They're definitely selling it, and I think it really comes down to like you mentioned, it's the maze design that kind of doesn't help, as well as the direction and in terms of how strict they are of what the actors can and can't do.
I think it's really their level of strictness.
Honestly.
Really like they don't really give their actors range to like have fun with it, or to like say, oh well, that person looks like they're easily scared, let me go after them a little bit more. Like they can't do that. They have to do the same thing over and over again.
Like a good example of something that worked was, at least at the end of the Us maze, there was a room where they're holding hands across America, and normally one of our scares is a loud noise, flashing light, and then them popping out. This ending one, at least to my knowledge, and I don't remember encountering it, there was none of that. You know, it was just the ambiance, the sound design, which was haunting.
Yeah, we had that too. And they would just, whichever one was a human besides the mannequin, they would just kind of like move their head out, because they'd still be holding the hands of the mannequin, but they would just move their head out, and you'd be like, oh my God.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I have video and audio of my reaction to this. Literally, we go into that room, and as I'm walking to the room, I'm like, I don't like this. And as the guy scares me, you hear him, he just goes, oh, like that's all he did. That's all he did. And I go, really loud. But like it works. It works because it was out of the norm. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting this loud noise. I wasn't expecting this warm breath and weird noise in my ear. That's why that works. And it works really well. I just want more of that. I want more of the unexpected stuff. So
I hope we get that this year with COVID restrictions.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So there are a few different houses being constructed on the West Coast, apparently. The speculated houses are Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, The Curse of Pandora's Box 2, and then the Walking Dead attraction, which I thought had permanently closed, but I guess it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, like the outside is no longer there, but to my knowledge, they never said anything about closing the inside.
It's just just
they
sitting there.
Closed the doors.
Interesting.
Didn't say much, at least to
That's
my
so
knowledge.
Weird.
Huh. Okay. Well, do these sound like good additions to the Hollywood event to you guys?
I am really excited about The Curse of Pandora's Box 2, because that was just like I don't even know how to describe it last year.
It felt nonstop.
It was like chaotic fun. And it was very different than, normal Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood mazes. And we just had a lot of fun in it. So I'm really excited to see what they brought for this year, especially if it's just more chaotic nonsense. Because honestly, like that's exactly what we were talking about. It was like unpredictable stuff, and that's exactly what it was last year.
It felt very out of the norm for Halloween Horror Nights in terms of kind of the style, which I tend to think that Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood excels when they're doing original mazes as opposed to IP mazes.
And that's pretty rare for Hollywood, right? Isn't it usually... Only recently has Hollywood started doing originals at all, right?
They've been doing originals for a while, but they're few and far between.
Yeah, very few and far between. I think they're realizing now that people are kind of calling for it more. So I have seen a few more in recent years. But
yeah, so because when that year came up in 2019, when 2019 happened, it was right next to us over by the Backlot Tour. That's kind of where those two mazes were located. Us was very much like slow burn. It was haunting. It put me on edge. This one was just like freaking nonstop, and it just felt like everything was happening so fast. So it was nice to kind of have that difference in maze quality and change and speed and things like that. But when it comes to Pandora's Box, it was like, you know, that UV light type of maze, and they were utilizing just a lot of really fun different ways of kind of getting people to be off guard, which I know that we just had a long conversation about them being predictable, but this maze was slightly less predictable. They still had, you know, the pop out of the wall and all the stuff that you know them for, but they had some fun things that you don't typically see, which, why isn't that happening more often is the problem.
Right.
But in terms of what I think about these three, Walking Dead, it's The Walking Dead. You know what you're getting from that. It was a daytime thing. It is what it is. Halloween 3 is really Halloween 3.5 to my knowledge. From what I heard, and this is on the grapevine, don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds like they're trying to include Michael Myers into this. Which, one, why?
Yeah.
Two, don't. Because if you're going to be doing Halloween 3, which is what the fans have been clamoring for a very long time, because Murdy teases, the whole creative team teases Halloween 3 in every Halloween maze that he's ever done. You know, either the masks are there, or the trick-or-treaters are there, or the pumpkins on the TV. You hear like the tune from Silver Shamrock. It's always there. If you're teasing it, you're finally going to do it. Just do it. Just do it.
I think they're worried about all the people who haven't actually seen the movie, like coming out of the maze being like, "This is bull. Where's Michael?"
In my head, I imagine that dumb SpongeBob meme where he's like bent over with like a derpy face, and he's like, "This isn't Halloween 3. Where's Michael Myers?" That's what I imagine.
Which is kind of, isn't that what people like reacted when the movie came out? They were like, "What is this? Like, this isn't."
Pretty much.
It had really bad reviews.
They didn't know it was supposed to be an anthology. Halloween was supposed to be an anthology, but Michael Myers just got too popular, which I understand. But in terms of the house and in terms of the maze, if you're going to do Halloween 3, just focus on it. Because there's a lot of great stuff in that. Yeah. So I'm excited about seeing that. Pandora's Box, I mean, obviously I'm excited about it as well. So,
I find it interesting that they're doing an original back-to-back. Like iteration 1 of it, 2019. And then I'm assuming last year they were going to have iteration 2 of it, 2020. But now we've bumped it to 2021 for obvious reasons. But like here in Orlando, that doesn't really happen. Like you don't normally see, whether it's like an IP or an original, you don't really see it like back to back. You know, like
unless it's Walking Dead, and then you see it 10 years in a row.
Well, besides The Walking Dead, but
the only exception I can think of is when 26 had Chance as like a sequel to 25's Jack year, but that's really the only.
Yeah, because like Nightingale's had a beginning one, but that was like what, like 15.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Long time ago. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of others I remember from like watching all the YouTube videos and things that are like originals that we've had like second bits of later on. So I find that cool. Like I'm excited that you guys are going to get a good original that you enjoyed for a second time. But it is interesting that it's like right back to back.
Well, I wonder if they did that because of like budget reasons, you know, with the COVID and everything being shut down. Now they're like, let's reuse some of these props and costumes from last year.
I think that definitely could be a part of it. I also think that we just don't have like the traditions and longevity with original mazes like you do out there to even have a set of rules for it, or you know, even traditions. You know,
that's actually a really, really good point.
Yeah.
And more like also what might play into it is just the fact that Pandora's Box probably had like a really good guest rating.
It was popular.
And like, okay, well, like we could probably bring it back and save a little bit of money by reusing some stuff, and you know, like you guys had mentioned. But typically that doesn't happen. I mean, the only other time that I mean,
sequels typically don't happen at all.
Sequels, the only other time that I might remember that happening is when they had La Llorona, and they brought that back, but then they did like a different take on it again. So like a third year, something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So that's the only other time, but like every other original maze that they've done, El Cucuy, Holidays in Hell, things like that, they typically only get like that 1 year treatment. Or if we're lucky, what ends up happening is they test it out in like a scare zone. It does so well, then they bring it back as like a maze, which has happened multiple times.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Trick or treat syndrome.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Maddie and Kenneth, do you wish that we had these in Orlando? Or are you happy with what we have?
I mean, like The Walking Dead. I mean, I've gone through the Walking Dead attraction like in Hollywood, and I've had friends in it as well, and it's the same thing every time.
You're not wrong.
There was one day where I went through it. They must have like really not cared about like the call outs and staffing it, but there was one time I was living in California for a year, and I went through it, and I kid you not, there was a zombie and then the guy in the prison with the gun. And those were the only scare actors in the entire thing. And I was like,
yeah,
I believe it.
That's
is
not good.
happening? It was like middle of the day. I was like, maybe it's lunch break. I don't know.
That's weird. The zombies are all feeding their brains.
Well, it's their union based, break where they eat the brains at a certain time. So.
I do think though that Pandora's Box would be like, I haven't seen like anything from 2019 and that house, so I don't even know what it's about. But it would be cool. So
It's exactly the name. You open up Pandora's box and everything happens.
It's just a bunch of evil things are released. So,
well, essentially, like I think Murdy actually on his Twitter did like an entire thread. He's been doing threads on all the houses and like behind the scenes and explanations for stuff and the treatments. And basically, he did like a lot of research into like the history behind the idea of what Pandora's box even is, and kind of the lore behind it and how that connects to why he designed the monster in a certain way, and particularly what kind of monsters he's incorporating because of that history, stuff like that. So it does make sense in terms of why he did it, but going through it, it goes like right over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool to know afterwards.
yeah.
I think I did watch a walkthrough of Pandora's Box, and haunted houses never really come across very well on video. So I couldn't really make heads or tails of what it was or how good it looked or anything. But
it was very vibrant. It was very vibrant because it's that glowing paint that's always, it's not like the 3D paint, but what is it called? Chroma depth or not chroma depth? I don't know. But it's
just black
glowing paint. Yeah, black paint. And it'd be really cool scenes where like there's skeletons in cages, the lights turn off, they turn back on, the skeletons are out of their cages and they're like coming at you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was actually, that was like probably this one scene that was like, oh, kind of smart.
Yeah,
I like
that was a fun scene.
That's dope. I like it.
And I know a lot of Orlando people who want Halloween Season of the Witch and have been asking for it. I've never seen that movie. Apparently people do like it. Like, now that people know what it is, like there's some good fans of it. But I would welcome it. Now that we've had a few years without Michael, or without Halloween, because I mean technically Michael shouldn't be in this house. I wouldn't mind having it. It almost feels like he should or this could have been at 30. So we'll see.
I mean, like I'd be interested to see your guys' take on it because I like the maze design and that Orlando usually is able to do. So I'd be interesting to see their take.
Didn't we have Halloween in 28? Am I remembering that incorrectly?
Yes, I think so.
Halloween 4.
Yeah. With the little clown girl, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I was not a fan of that house, but
It was there.
yeah.
okay.
It was there.
Yeah.
It sure was.
I wouldn't mind seeing Pandora's Box, but I could do without Halloween for a while just because I feel like we've done it so much. Of course, it's Michael Myers, and it would be different. But I'm more a fan of the original, so I think that Pandora's Box would be cool. However, I don't think that I would want to give any of our current spec map houses up in exchange for Pandora's Box.
I mean, don't you guys want some Walking Dead or something? I could throw that in a little extra as a deal.
No, thank you.
No.
You can keep
like,
it.
I'm trying to make you take it. Like, please, God, take it, please. Just for the love of God, just take it, please.
No,
I'll take it like myself. Like it doesn't have to go in the park.
Like at your house?
Yeah, like we can turn my apartment into a
like the
Walking Dead
dude is in
house.
the jail, like shooting his gun. He's like, "Hey, bro, what's in your fridge? I'm hungry."
What's there now at the entrance now?
It's like the entrance to Pet's place, and there's like this kind of this arch
It's
that's
just
kind of
That's
covered.
so
Okay.
weird.
And I forgot, I took a picture of it. I have it on my phone,
Yeah.
but it says, it has like a name on it, kind of like something square or something park or something.
You know what though? They've probably taken the facade down for now because it is that whole Secret Life of Pets thing. But post HHN, what do you guys call it? Yours is just HHN 2021, right? Like you don't have the
2020.
numbers.
Yeah, we don't have the numbers.
I feel like after that, they're going to be like, all right, peace out. We're going to demolish the whole thing. Like they're just
Probably.
keeping it around as a house to have for this year so that they don't have to build another one. And then
Yeah.
after that, they're going to
That's
be
a
like,
good point.
nah, it's got to go.
That's what I think probably would have happened the previous
Yeah.
year. If the previous year happened,
Oh, absolutely,
they would have
yeah.
left it and said like, "Hey, we'll just keep it open for HHN, and then after
Yeah.
that, we'll knock it all down on the
Yeah.
Because
inside
that
and do
whole
something
front
else."
area is basically becoming like a DreamWorks area.
To a certain
So,
extent, I mean, like you have
yeah.
that, you have like a Starbucks, and then you have like where like Scooby Doo is right now, and then the exit to the maze, and then the entrance to the maze,
Right.
where it normally would be. So it's all kind of hodgepodgey in the moment, and kind of leads into Pet's Place, which kind of leads to the new Secret Life of Pets.
That's kind of creepy that like right next to this whole like kids family area, there's
Uh-huh.
this hidden zombie
I love
world
it. I love
behind the
it.
scenes.
Right.
It's
I
like
love it.
it's like your own little Chernobyl of Hollywood.
Death.
Isn't that
I
cool?
love it so much.
Yeah.
I love it.
How fun. The things you think about.
Gabriel, don't go in there sneaking in like other people we know.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Don't
I
drink
really
the
want
water.
to. I want to really bad. If you drink the water, you turn into a walker. That's
Yeah, that's what I was
happens.
going to say.
Pretty
That's where all those walkers came from.
Oh God.
cool. Oh God, no.
Bath salts people. I mean, it is Florida. We are known for that. It's fine.
That's something you want to be known for. Don't you want to
No,
be known
it's
for people
not.
who drink theme park water instead?
Absolutely.
We'll take it all.
Moving on, though. Have you guys been able to take a look at our speculation map for this year?
I have looked at it. I don't have it up. Let me pull it up.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so cool. So I'm looking at it.
Yay.
Yeah, we have looked at this, and I think we've talked about it on our show.
Yeah.
And I'm completely pumped for a lot of this. I know that we've seen a little bit of puppet theater. You know, they released a little bit of footage of that.
Mm-hmm.
You've had Beetlejuice, so super pumped for that. I'm 100% super excited for everything that has to do with your guys' history and icons and stories, because to me, that's what's the most interesting about Halloween Horror Nights Orlando is this kind of overarching kind of story with Cary, Ohio and the
Yes.
icons and things like that. Like, to me, that's the most interesting.
It's so
It's
cool.
very
It's
fun.
it's very true. I love how our creative teams, even over the years, as people have come and gone in the creative teams, they've continued that like underlying story of the history and continued what their predecessors have done. It's so cool to see that develop and to see it used in different ways. Like when we were talking earlier about sequel houses, sometimes we have houses that aren't true sequels, but it's like a spin-off of something that we've had in the past.
Yeah.
So that Cary,
Yeah.
Ohio thing is definitely a recurring theme, and it's that's a house I'm really looking forward to.
One thing I really like about the idea of having kind of that overarching story and background story of Carrie, and even just having those icons, is it brings this different feeling to the event. Like for our Halloween Horror Nights, it's like, okay, cool, we're going to the movies and there's some extra, original things. For some reason, there's a different feeling to it, and I'm having a hard time verbalizing it because it isn't something that's like a tangible thing. I'm very bad at verbalizing this, and Nikki, you could maybe be able to translate it. But like, it's almost like it's almost like they care that much more. Because there's like this overarching story, and to me, that comes through in the event, and you could feel it in the scares, in the sound design, in the set design, in everything across the board. You could feel how much they care about where it's come from and that story. And for guests, I think it makes it extra special.
I feel like it's like for lack of a better way of phrasing it, it's like a sense of ownership of the
that is a very good way of
it's like in
explaining
ours I kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, like half the time I feel like I'm just walking through a trailer in 3D, like a movie trailer, or like I'm just watching scenes from this movie, which is cool.
You're detached.
Detached.
You're very detached.
But so
Yeah.
you're more enveloped in it when it's something original.
And for listeners who are like us, who don't have Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, as don't go as often as we do, or as everyone else does, like you guys. For listeners who know what Knott's Scary Farm is, the way that we feel about Knott's Scary Farm is the way that I know that you guys feel about Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
That's the exact same way. And that's the kind of same feeling we have going to Horror Nights over there is Scary Farm over here. That's the only similar thing I could point out.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I feel like there is such a fun and like really random and miscellaneous history with how Horror Nights in Orlando got started, with it literally being like, oh crap, like Disney is starting a Halloween event for kids, but like we're kind of a kids park, but also kind of an adult park. So what if we kind of threw together this thing? We'll see if it works. Oh wait, it worked. Okay, cool. Like moving forward,
Yeah.
it was just such like a random and like spontaneous beginning that people like really like attached to.
Yeah, and
very,
it only
very
had
early
like
on.
didn't it only have like 1 or 2 nights the very first year and it was just
it
like
was
a Halloween party.
a weekend. It was a weekend.
And I think it only had like one house for that first one.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, and it's every year, like, what else can we do? Like, we had Robo Dinosaur. Why?
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I saw
Bring
him.
him back.
Yeah, but it's like these really like crazy random things, like the whole history with like Bill and Ted. Like there's just such a, like, I love the word ownership, because I feel like when the fans really caught on and were like, this is fantastic, we want more, that gave creative the like mindset of every year has to be better than the last.
Mm-hmm.
But we have this like original storyline running through it as well from its beginning creators. Like it's such a cool thing, you know? And like, I know that I haven't been a part of it for so long, but watching like the history videos and everything, like even I have the sense of like, oh, I'm so proud. Like, it's so cool, you know?
Yeah, it's very true.
It's that sense of tradition. That sense of tradition is alive
and they're
and well.
really good at drawing in newbies, because Maddie's the newest of us, but I've only been going since 25. So we're both fairly new, but we've been drawn in so quickly to that culture, you know?
I definitely think that there's going to be that conversation every single year. Anytime that there's going to be a new IP where people are like, that's not horror, that doesn't belong at Halloween Horror Nights and things like that, especially with like, I think it kind of started with Stranger Things to kind of get new people in. And I think that's going to continue to happen. But ultimately, I think that's a good thing, because it's going to get people into the event, and more people are going to enjoy the event, like you guys, you know, or somebody else who's not thought about going to the event has said, oh, well, there's that. I kind of want to see how that turns out.
See, but that's how I think IPs should work. I think IPs should draw people in, but then people stay for the originals. That's what I think. That's how I think it should work.
I think that's a very good point.
Yeah,
and getting things that kind of have a little bit more of a wide variety of people who could come see it, and even if it's not necessarily the goriest or the scariest, if it has some type of scary factor to it, I think it's perfectly fine to utilize it. Like, I'll say an IP that people are probably gonna get really mad at me for saying. I think that a Scooby-Doo house would work very, very well. And the reason why is, if you look at the history of what Scooby-Doo has been doing, it isn't necessarily that it's overtly scary. There are monsters, and there's a plenty of them to choose from. There's a very good wide variety of them, from
tons.
You know, the cheesiest to the scariest. You know, I mean, Scooby-Doo did Zombie Island, for God's sake.
If they can do Ghostbusters, they can do Scooby-Doo.
I was going to say the same thing.
And I think what that does is it gives a really good balance to the event, which is something that I feel like ours misses sometimes. At least in 2019, I feel like is the best year that Hollywood has ever done.
I think so,
because it was a good balance. It needs to have a little bit of funny to the scary. It's like the chocolate to the peanut butter. It's exactly that. If you like Reese's, that is. I love Reese's. But you need that balance. And at least in 2019 for us, you know, you have something like a Killer Clowns of Outer Space, which is inherently silly while still being slightly scary. And then you have something like Holidays in Hell, which is a little bit silly as well, But then you have Us, which is completely terrifying.
Right.
And Pandora's Box, which is just like nonstop scares. So there's that balance. And I think including things that you wouldn't necessarily consider to be horror into the events is a good thing because of that. And that kind of leads to more people coming in and enjoying it. But then I also think inviting IP that isn't normally seen allows them to kind of look outside the box even more to things that you wouldn't expect. So
Right.
I think there's an argument on both sides, but I think it inevitably is a good thing.
I think Poltergeist was maybe the scariest house I've ever seen, and that movie is not really scary at all. But
see, it doesn't have to be over the top scary to work.
Right.
You know, it comes down to the creative minds behind it and how they're kind of figuring things out and how they want their maze to be, because it doesn't have to be step by step everything that happens in the movie, which sometimes feels like it is in Hollywood. Sometimes in Hollywood they take creative liberties and change things, but for a good period of time it really feels like it's just this happens in the movie, then this happens in the movie,
There
then
was
this happens in the movie.
like 3 years in a row where they had mazes for movies that hadn't even come out yet, and they were literally scene by scene recreations of the trailers. One was Crimson Peak. One was that Dracula movie.
Dracula Untold.
It was like 3 years in a row they did that.
They did have that blackout hallway in Dracula Untold where they had like bats, quote, bats and people with feathers touching your legs and arms and stuff.
Absolutely not.
But besides that Dracula Untold might be one of the worst mazes ever.
It was really bad.
I just got so nauseous thinking about that.
Come here, let me touch you with my feather. Come here.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're totally correct. Like you literally, like you could have like the Disney princesses pop out of a boo hole and they would scare you because you wouldn't be expecting it. You know, like anything can be scary if you want it to.
Like if you keep them off guard, you know, keep them on their toes, you could scare them with anything. I mean, like you said, Disney princesses or a Gremlins maze. If you're like, oh, great, guess what's so cute? Oh my God, go! And then like a gremlin comes out and gets you. You know what I mean?
So
By the way, one more thing before you move on. I've been saying for the longest time, I want a Gremlins maze, but I don't want them to tell me it's a Gremlins maze. I want them to build it like okay, you're gonna go into a ghost house maze. It's full of ghosts.
And then
you're gonna be
gremlins are
super
just
scared.
over.
And then the gremlins literally just show up and run amok and cause havoc and wreak havoc in the maze. So it's not a beat by beat of the movie. It's gremlins take over this haunted house, and now they're coming after you.
Yeah.
And then it's like that twist in a movie, but in maze form. Oh my God, I got so excited thinking about it.
Me too.
That would be so cool.
There's like a Gremlins ride that existed somewhere in the world that was kind of similar to that.
Yeah, I heard about it, but I think it no longer exists, right?
Yeah, they closed it. I think it was in Australia or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Can we just go back to Scooby-Doo Zombie Island for 1 second?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. So good. The fact that I've never thought about that, I'm so mad. But oh my God. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Not as a kid, but like as a middle-aged kid kind of person. But those, like, I don't want to, they're like the dog, the alien, the things, and they like go into people and they're scary. But also, can you imagine having, just as like the funny part of the house, that one scene where all of their souls get mixed up? And Shaggy's just there. I'm wearing a skirt.
You're talking about the Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah.
I thought she said Zombie Island.
No,
what is the name of it?
The Zombie Island is a cartoon movie. Then there's just Scooby-Doo. And that's the movie where they go to Scary Island. Spooky Island. With Mr. Bean. With Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson.
Don't worry, I thought of that one too. I was totally thinking of the live action.
I was off base. Sorry.
It was the island part that threw me. But yeah, that would be so good. Either one of the live action ones I think would be really good as a house.
That would allow them to make a Shaggy smoking weed joke. Yes. Oh, Scoob! I feel real good right now. That was like a mix of Morty and Scoob and Shaggy. Goddamn.
We've already got the costumes and the sets, so I mean,
there you go.
Yeah,
it's a given.
Absolutely, I'm so here for it. I'm sorry, that was a tangent. We're moving on. It's fine.
Sorry to get everybody excited listening about a Scooby-Doo maze, and it's not going to happen, at least to my knowledge. You know what?
We never thought that Ghostbusters would happen either, and it happened. So honestly, at this point, anything is fair game.
And I think that's exciting. And I think that's the way the event should work is keeping guests guessing. Yeah. You know, you never know what's going to be at the event and whether or not it's a complete horror masterpiece like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or it's going to be Scooby-Doo. Who knows? And it's all going to be fun.
I mean, we dressed up all the Universal characters this year in Mardi Gras garb. So if we can do that, we can make a Scooby-Doo maze.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Anything is possible.
Awesome. I hope Creative is listening to us, guys.
Or not.
All right, moving on. So for everyone out there thinking about attending HHN in either Orlando or Hollywood who will be needing hotel accommodations, just so you know, you can go ahead and book to lock in your dates. I own a travel agency in case we have listeners who don't listen to the UOP. And I've had lots of inquiries already about what should they do. You know, tickets aren't released yet for HHN, but I'm worried that I'm not going to have a hotel. So should I book now? So just to kind of get that out there, yes, you can book now, especially if you need daytime tickets as well. You can book a package now and then easily add on those HHN tickets later on after those are released. And it's only at usually $50 a person to book a package. And then also for all of our annual pass holders out there who don't necessarily need daytime tickets, but will need a hotel, you can also book those Halloween Horror Nights dates as well now with, and yes, your favorite travel agent, whether that be with Mouse and Muggle Travel Company or whoever else in the world, they can book the standard rates, pass holder rates, and even military rates for your hotels. And then, of course, your HHN tickets can be purchased separately later on when those are released.
We're using Mouse and Muggle. Yeah.
Yay! I know. Yeah, but even if it's not us, I'm going to do that shameless plug. Yes, use your favorite Mouse and Muggle travel agent. If you have one or need one, you know where to find us, mouseandmuggle.com. But if you do have a different travel agent who you've used in the past or are referred to, please just use a travel agent because we're all suffering after COVID. So we could really use your help right now. And just so you know, those hotels, especially at Orlando, I'm not too familiar with what's going on in Hollywood quite yet, but Orlando especially, there are some dates that are surprisingly already getting pretty slim on availability for those hotels. I think everybody's clamoring to go to this event this year after missing it last year. So if you're thinking about going, I would definitely get on that sooner than later so that you're not disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a message to us? Because we haven't responded to that link yet. My bad.
Yeah, it could be you. I don't know. But
where's my wallet? Where's my wallet?
Right. I just wanted to get that out there because I don't want anybody to mess out. And, you know, there are a lot of people that do like to stay off site, which is fine. And yes, we can help you with that too. But if you are considering staying on site, HHN is definitely the time to do that because with those shuttles running at park close, even at 2 a.m. back to your hotel, that's kind of invaluable. Whereas your offsite hotels won't offer that. So you'll be stuck with Ubers and a whole mess down in the hub at City Walk waiting for Ubers and things. So it's best to just do it while you can, do it sooner than later, and go to HHN.
Yay!
Yay!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
So that's going to do it for this episode of Rush of Fear. Thank you again so much to Gabriel and Nikki for joining us tonight. Would you two like to let our listeners know where they can find you elsewhere?
Well, thank you guys so much for having us on. It was a complete blast talking about Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. But you could always find us at Theme Park Duo on all social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Our podcast is a themed entertainment podcast. You find it on iTunes and other places where you stream podcasts. And we talk Halloween Horror Nights and haunts here on the West Coast and even just theme parks in general and themed entertainment. So make sure you check us out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you will continue to join us on the run up to and during Halloween Horror Nights 30. For more content, be sure to check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/rushoffear and follow us on Instagram at rush.of.fear. And again, a huge thank you to Corey Hall for creating our podcast artwork and to Burnt Ends for our music. The podcast has come to an end. Now get out.